So I'm doing this presentation on the informational needs for my job on different levels. So I am a wildland fire dispatcher. So at the dispatch level, I'm one of the newest ones there. So information that I need are programs to be able to do my job, such as IROC and WildCAD. Those are be able to know how to get into those programs and how to use them. Weather is a very important thing that I have to know and be aware of. So I cover a huge area and kind of know what's going on, especially with fire weather conditions. Like, is it hot, dry, relative humidity, and then staffing for a zone. When we have a fire, it's important to know who I have available to send to that, so that I can get the adequate resources or get more resources there if I need. And then another thing is important numbers like DO's numbers, engine boss numbers, other dispatch centers, being able to get a hold of them and knowing who to get a hold of to get the information that I need, like whether it's travel information or fire information, anything like that. So next we have the FLOP, or the floor supervisor. So they kind of need to know who works in what area. Like, we have different zones that we are in charge of, so who's working what zone that day. And kind of what's happening in each area. They can find this by looking at, we have a big map that we move all our resources around on, so they have to be aware of what's going on. They can go through and read our log and look at that, make sure that they have that information too. So like if we have something comes up, they can help us figure out who we need to send. So response and preparedness levels for each of the zones. We have districts, and it's important to know like the response levels, like how many, like each response level indicates a different number of resources, and different list of people to get a hold of. Preparedness level is overall preparedness level, not just at like our dispatch center level, but go up to the GAC and then national. So you branch out so you know where everyone's at, and so if you're trying to pull resources, how that works. And then they need to know who's providing the information. If I say, hey, I got a smoke report, they're going to ask me who I get it from. It's going to be, I got to be able to give them that information. So next we have center manager. So they deal more with like overall. So they need to know like number of fires, the size of fires. They also need to know staffing for the zone and like who's available, and like not just who calls in service, but who actually has engines available that we can call up and get people staffed and get them staffed. So they're in charge of making sure they know what happens within the region. So within like overall, they're aware of weather concerns, preparations people are making, activities. Like if we had 4th of July, that was a big one that came up that we were very much aware of and had to prepare for, that we aren't going to have random wildfires everywhere. And then what's happening with our neighbors. It makes it really hard to get resources from our neighbors if our neighbors are swamped. So it's important for the center manager to know what's going on within our neighbors, like neighboring dispatch centers, and pass that information down to the floor supervisor and then me, the dispatcher. And then overall, how many resources we have, like who do we have, what do we have, what can we send, what can we get ready, and what can and can we not send out of our zone. So next we have GAC. It's kind of above the center manager, so we go up to not just our dispatch center, but you go up above it, and you have what's happening in the region. So not just with our dispatch centers, but all the dispatch centers in that area. Major fire weather concerns, resource availability, resources from like the other GACs, like what we can pull, and resources available like resources needed by other regions and resources available within our own region. And that's it. Thank you.